just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
How long you been racing? Oh my God, 100 fucking years, you stupid fuck. Come here, you little Hey! Hey, come here! Come here, you
Madsen is howling on James McFadden.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Work Area Podcast. Geez, that's gone quick, mate. Seven episodes. I've already said, mate. I shouldn't have. I need to cut that out, mate. Again, yes, it's been no good. I've been listening back and get some feedback. I say that a lot, but yeah, we got our co-host here tonight. Yeah, really excited. We got Brandon Sharpe with us. Run plenty of classes. We'll go through it with him. We're going to break down Bunbury. We're going to look forward to the weekend coming up, and we're just going to talk a whole lot of shit. How are you, Brando?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me. Really excited. Yeah, it's awesome. Like every morning on a Monday, I'm driving to work and I'm like, yep, bang the podcast on. That gets me to work and back on a Monday. So yeah, really excited to be on.
Nah, sweet. Yeah, the feedback's been pretty sweet. Like, and yeah, we just spoke about it. We obviously did the Dane Kingshot interview during the week and it's just exploded. It's actually been so awesome. Like, yeah, I've been a little bit giddy and my missus will like nudge me and, hey, look who's like this post. Look who's like, so it's been cool. Like, this person's messaged her. Like, yeah, so it makes me feel pretty good, mate. And yeah, I'm really excited about where the podcast could go and all that. But mate, we'll talk shit about that later. Yeah, I'm just interested, mate. Talk us through your career and what classes that you've done.
Oh, geez. Goes back a while now that I think about it. Started off back in bitumen karts when I was 7. We were living down in Albany, actually. That's where I was born and bred.
Country.
And went down to the local kart track one day and with the old man and my brother and had a bit of a look. And next thing you know, we were in a kart on a fun day and next thing we had a kart each. So yeah, that's sort of where we started and sort of progressed from there. Like did karts right through to our early teens. And then same thing, went out to Bunbury Speedway and we were probably watching World Series or something when it was cool and used to come down there and travel around and yeah, saw these things in a junior sedans and yeah, same thing. There was a fun day on and jumped in someone's car and next minute we had a couple of junior sedans. So yeah, we sort of raced that through to our late teens. Came up and raced some bitumen stuff up at Wanneroo and that in a category called saloon cars, which is like 6-cylinder Falcons and Commodores. So
yeah, right.
Probably similar to like a production or a modified, but on bitumen. So yeah, we did probably 4 or 5 years in that. And then, yeah, for some reason, we're just back on dirt. And that's where we've ended up and probably having the most fun we've ever had, I reckon.
And when you say you've obviously done a lot of stuff with your brother, Travis?
Yeah, Travis, yeah. So he's my older brother and it's one of those things like he obviously started in all the divisions before I did and then I would step into his older equipment and he'd get new stuff. And so, yeah, it's funny, like throughout all the years, we never really actually raced against each other until we got in wingless sprints. So, I mean, we don't ever have any bragging rights or anything like that, but yeah, now that we finally do race together, it's good to probably say that I've got one up on him.
And then, mate, we covered a little bit off air the XLs, mate. That's the class there. We pretty much tell the exact same story as what you told me now. So you started it because your sister got into it?
Yeah, so my older sister, she never got the opportunity to race when we were kids. She's a little bit older than me, so yeah, it just come about that she wanted to have a crack in something and this division had started, this XL Cup, they call it. So yeah, it's basically, as it sounds, it's literally Hyundai XLs, bang a cage in them, set of coilovers and some race tyres and you go racing. So like any entry-level class that's, made out to be $4 or $5 grand, you can go racing, but it never turns out that way. So yeah, we bought this car for her and she was having a skid in it. And then whenever she wasn't racing, one of us would jump in it and we were like, oh, this is pretty fun, but it sucks, we're down the back a bit. So we decided that the Aussie title was going to be at Wanneroo a couple of years back now. And we were like, we've got to have a crack. So we built a brand new car and yeah, if I told you what we spent building it, you probably wouldn't believe me, but
Give the listeners what they want. What's the rough bill for a Hyundai XL to compete in the Cup?
we probably spent about 25, 30 grand building this car. And, you know, that's still doing a lot of it ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's crazy, like this division, like even teams like AAA and stuff, that they were coming out showcasing cars that they'd built, and you could literally go to them and say, I want you to build me a Hyundai XL Cup car, and, you know, here's 70, 80 grand, and you'd get a car out of it. So,
And did people do that?
yeah, they definitely did. Yep.
So AAA were building Hyundai XLs for people to compete in this Cup.
Yeah, they literally were. So
Crazy.
Yeah, there was a photo kicking around. Look, I don't know if it was a piss take or not, but there's a photo kicking around on Facebook of an XL motor on the engine dyno with Brodie Kostecki and Kenny Mack at KRE, and that raised a few eyebrows. But yeah, I don't know if it was a piss take or not, but yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I think any division, it sort of starts out as, you know, an entry level cheap form of motorsport, and then, you know, people come into it and go, yeah, I want to give it a red hot crack, and it just skyrockets from there. So
Just explodes some of the costs. What did you guys end up coming at that Aussie title?
I think we finished 7th of that Aussie title. So we literally finished building the car probably the weekend before, had no testing in it, like literally rolled out and practice on the Friday. We were crap. I think we were like 16th or 20th. And then, yeah, we were just chipping away over the weekend. And I think we ended up, 7th or 8th. So would have been nice to go a bit better. But it's one of those things, like, honestly, like that division, as stupid as this probably sounds, it was probably one of the hardest or the most technical divisions I've had to race in. Like, it's crazy the amount of work these people put into these little cars to make them go fast. Like, it's just unbelievable. So yeah, good fun though. We've gotten rid of them all now because it's just too hard, too much work. But yeah, that they were awesome. So,
And then now you're in the wingless class, and you and your brother, I think, are getting a speed car ready. How far is that big girl off?
yeah, so we've been piecing together, a speed car for probably the last, I'd say 12 months. So yeah, kind of, it's always been a bit of for some reason, a bit of a dream of my old man to own a speed car or a midget. You know, we told him he's crazy when he sort of told us the idea in the shed one night, and yeah, next thing you know, he sort of came home with a chassis, and we kind of went, oh shit, you know, he's not joking. He actually wants to do this. So yeah, we've sort of been piecing that together. You know, it's one of those things where you kind of don't want to go into it half-heartedly. So yeah, it's taken us a while, but it's not too far off now. We were hoping to try and have it ready for sort of that Christmas period, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to happen yet. But yeah, hopefully we'll get it out at some stage this season, and yeah, we'll just give it a crack and see what happens. So,
And who's we? Who's behind the wheel, you or Trav?
I think we'll both give it a crack. We did the seat fitment last night. Oh, not last night, sorry, last week. And yeah, she's a bit tight, but we'll get in there. So yeah, we'll both have a crack and just a bit of fun, man, and we'll see what happens.
No, that's sick, mate. That's wicked that you're still involved with your brother and your dad, and yeah, you all stay together. And I'm not sure you probably do, but yeah, when I started out, you gave me some free parts, kick panels there for the bottom of the wingless. So I popped over, mate. It's a wicked setup. Yeah, I can't wait to see how you guys go. And yeah, obviously now you run the wingless class, and you're regularly a podium threat in that wingless, mate. So wicked little entry level class for you. Where's Trav? Why isn't he racing?
So he actually had most of last season off. Like, he's got a couple of young kids, and he's flat out at work, you know, just all the usual stuff. So he kind of was just going, I'll give this season a miss. But kind of, I think it must have been 3 weeks before the state title. He'd had a couple of skids in my car on Fast Fridays. And it must have been, 2 or 3 weeks before the title. And he messaged me and goes, I think I want to race. And yeah, at that point, I think we had a chassis there, and that was it. So we literally, sort of did a bit of a checklist through the shed of everything we had, everything that we were going to need, drop the chassis off, all the usual powder coat, halo, And then, we built this car in a couple of weeks, built a motor for it, took it out for practice on the Wednesday before the title, and he did 2 laps and junked it. So, but,
Jeez.
yeah, so it was one of those things. Yeah, Josh the Grizzly managed to sort of get it semi-patched up enough for him to race it. And, he did the title, and then we kind of parked it up. So it's actually just down at Peter Cox's now, actually getting straightened. So, he'll come back out at some point, but he's, not overly fussed at the moment. But, it's sort of one of those things, time, money. Yeah, but he'll get back out there. So
Yeah, sick. Well, mate, we let's get stuck into this, mate. And it's good. Yeah, obviously it's going to have to start with heading to Bunbury and is this cracking a CBD rum and cola there? Beautiful drop. But we're going to have to start with that track. So I'm sure everyone has some sort of knowledge of it now, but all the lads have turned up to Bunbury, and I'm sure that there is reasons why, but for whatever reasons they were, the track was just subpar. Almost looked like they'd had a full night like the night previous, and had left it. Then the guys have turned up. It's dry. It's looked like a grader. Hadn't seen it for a week. Hot laps went on for the 360s and the speed cars. And speaking to a few of the guys afterwards, like they did 3 or 4 laps for hot laps, and they're blitzing tyres. And like Travis Robertson, he runs that Link Chassis speed car. He did a front right tyre in hot laps from new to cooked.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
So
I didn't realise it was that bad.
Yeah. So he reckoned he had a good set of tyres on. They were dead on the rears. Both rears were dead. They weren't brand new to start with, but they were like 70, 80%. Like he would race them. They were gone. Same for all of the 360s. And then for speaking for the 410 drivers, they've seen what's gone on in hot laps, and they've effectively banded together and said this is just not good enough. It's dangerous. We're going to be wearing out gear. We're putting ourselves at risk and our equipment at risk. And then we had a 2-hour hiatus where they worked on the track and turned it epic.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's one of those things like going to Bunbury, don't get me wrong, like the track, it is awesome fun racing on there. But you kind of expect when you go down there, geez, we better take a few spare tyres, because you just usually know you're going to hurt tyres when you go there. So, yeah, pretty crazy to see sort of what happened. But look, I got to give it to them. I think they did a really good job in the end. Like the track was racy. It had 2 lanes you could actually pass, which there's not really sort of many, I guess you'd say, country tracks where you can get that, So, yeah, look, I think they did a really good job considering what happened. And, yeah, awesome to see, like, all the fans stick around. No one wants to sit around and waiting around wondering what's going on. But, credit to them. I reckon they did a really good job in the end.
Yeah, I guess the concerns now going forward is that they have the 360 title on December 7th, and then they've got a couple of rounds of the Speed Week, and they're just, no one can afford to have the track in that condition in these upcoming events. And everyone as a whole were obviously completely like almost disgusted and disappointed in the track, how it was when they got there. And I just kept on thinking, this has to work tonight. Otherwise it's almost a nail in the coffin for the club. Like because the mentality was to pack the cars up and go home before they even start the engines. Like that's what all the sprint cars, it sounds like, were almost on par, the 410s anyway, that the track just wasn't up to standard and they weren't going out unless something drastic happened. And obviously it did in the end. But yeah, it seems to be like an element of trust gone in the club and their ability to get a track up to standard, because it only took them 2 hours to work the track. So why didn't that happen at 12:30 instead of 6 o'clock or 5:30, whatever time it went ahead? But that track work, it only took them 2 hours to turn it from an absolute shithole into one of the best tracks that people are saying that Bunbury's had for years. But there will be reasons why, but I almost think like the reasons don't matter, because what they served up initially wasn't good enough, and it took, like, I think John Cricky, he's a crew chief for Brooke Newson. Like, he's there in another capacity completely. Ron Cricky, who's got nothing, he was out there, like, you would have seen the blue shirts of the LJM boys. They're running around on 4-wheelers trying to sort stuff out, and that's not good enough. And I'm not sure what happens going forward, whether whether they're even in jeopardy of hosting those rounds for Speed Week or not, but that cannot happen again because it seems like I'm sure the bloke on the grader, at one stage I heard the bloke on the grader is the only one that could do the water truck as well. So one bloke's obviously got his hole hanging out just to do anything on the track. But yeah, it did work in the end, but I'm not sure. That's almost like a Band-Aid. And yeah, my concern was that if that didn't go ahead, I'm not sure that the trust could ever go back. Because that's my mentality. I don't know what yours is like, but I definitely don't think I'll go back to Bunbury. Even if there's rounds on, just the question marks over it, and like with the financial commitment it takes for me, like I'm not extremely well off or anything like that, but I can't afford to have that weekend off, get the car ready and do that, go down there and be served up what was served up initially.
Yeah, look, it was pretty bad, to be honest. Like, you know, and even the decision for myself not to go down and race, you know, it's sort of one of those things where, again, it's so early in the season for us, you know, so do you go down there, you know, do you burn through 2 sets of tyres? It was just one of those things, you know, but yeah, look, I'm not really sure what's going on down there at the moment. Obviously, they had to cancel their first meeting I'm not sure what the reasoning was behind that. And then obviously this has happened now. So yeah, I think they're probably going to have a lot of pressure on them leading into, you know, that Christmas period, high limit round there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're going to want to serve something up for those guys to race on. And I think they've got big expectations on them, you know, so it'll be interesting to see what happens for sure.
And then, yeah, that drivers meeting, it's an old saying, but what I thought was there's like too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. But I can understand that because they've called up all car owners and drivers, and there was about 250 people there. So a lot of people own cars that I'm not aware of, and including me. But I started looking around and everyone had an opinion. I started thinking, well, all these sprint car drivers and team owners are like extremely successful people, and they all run businesses. They all are somebody. They all, you know, are smart and intelligent people to be in the position that they are, and they all have an opinion. And it got pretty heated there at some stages. And yeah, I end up just walking away because I just thought, oh, nothing's going to be resolved here. There seemed to be like a little bit of a lack of leadership. I know Gavin Migro had to stay at the Motorplex because he's now not just the boss of Speedway, he's the boss of the Motorplex, and they've also had their drag races on, so he has to stay there. And lots of people had ideas. They were all pretty valid, to be fair, but there was a lot of people that thought opposite as well, and they didn't know how they were going to run the program. And yeah, it just seemed to be a little bit of a lack of leadership. And yeah, then I'm not sure of his first name, but I'll call him Mr. Mayolo, parted the seas of all these blokes. Then Mr. Mayolo comes into the middle, and then he squares everyone, right? You shut up, this is what's happening. And yeah, then that they've sort of made the decision and let's get out on track, and they've sent the wingless out as usual to blow the dust off. And if I was running the obviously I have a wingless, so I think it's shit that when it's like a slop fest, we have to go out and clean the track up. But if I ran the show, I'd make the wingless go out as well.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So, yeah, I was guilty of going over to that drivers' meeting as well. And yeah, you're dead right. It did seem pretty heated there for a bit. You know, you had like all the big teams. They were just sort of throwing their ideas out. And I think in the end, you know, like the first idea that they came up with after, you know, such and such saying this and such saying that, they kind of just went, well, why don't we just do this then? Or why don't we just do this? So, yeah, you're dead right. I don't think anyone really sort of knew what they wanted to do. But I think in the end, it turned out all right. Like the racing was good. Not so sure about the smaller fields. I mean, probably the drivers probably like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, I don't know, from a spectator point of view, maybe not. I saw some comments on Facebook. Obviously, everyone's wondering what was going on, you know, where's the dashes, you know. So, yeah, I guess it's hard when you're doing stuff on the fly like that. You know, you're trying to give everyone a show, and I think in the end they did a really good job sort of with what they had. So,
yeah, for me, the problem is the track was just how they did it was a Band-Aid fix. The problem is that it should never have even had to come to that.
Oh, like, yeah, 100%, definitely.
There's 20 teams in the pits, you know, they're all somewhat like the cheapest is like $200,000 team. Like they all have crews, they all pay people, they all have people that put in countless hours in the shed, and yeah, it's the amount of the effort that not just the sprint car teams, everyone, the wing right down to the wingless, like the amount of effort that they all put in versus the effort that was put into that track is just chalk and cheese, and there's way bigger issues there than what there is, and what goes forward, I don't know, because again, it did turn out a pretty sick night, probably the best feature race we've had this year, which, yeah, that's enough of the negatives. Let's get into the races, mate. It was we'll start with the sprint cars. Mate, that was such a fucking wicked feature race. Like, I feel bad, Dane Kingshot. We did an interview with him on Friday night and covered a few things, and unfortunately, some of the pitfalls we spoke about end up happening to him, but he was clearly the fastest car, and I'm not sure what happened in the last 4 laps. That thing was smoking. I started thinking it must have been like some sort of mechanical issue, but yeah, even the yellows, like there was 8 yellows or whatever there was, but if there was 6 yellows, he wins. So he had that race won like 8 times or 6 times, sorry, and then eventually the yellows got to him, the car went away from him. You could clearly see he couldn't hang on to the thing. It was sliding everywhere, and then the battles everywhere. There was people moving forward. Like, I'm not sure what the hard charges have been this year, but I think Ryan Newton probably would have won it, and that's about as many plus forward positions that I've seen this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I reckon. I think he started about 12th or something. In
Yeah.
the feature. So, yeah, he was moving, like, especially in those last handful of laps. Like, he just came out of nowhere. Yeah, that thing was hauling on the top. Like, he obviously sort of seen everyone was kind of bottled up, I don't know, like conserving on the bottom, and he obviously thought, fuck it, I'm going to have a crack, and it paid off in the end. So, yeah, no, he was moving.
They got that car flying because I think it was King of the Wings as well. He came from nowhere to second, I think, from off the top of my head. But in the late portions of those feature races, he's flying. But yeah, obviously no one was going better than Callum Williamson because he started 3rd, I think it was. He's jumped a cushion in 3 and 4, went back to 7th, and then we spoke to Brodie Moller in an interview, and he said that they shit house at the start of a feature, but then they come good at the end, and it was like really like almost prophetic with how he said it. Like, he knows the car so well, and how he spoke about what the car does. I was watching what was happening, and exactly what he said is happening to him lately is what happened. And then he's just storming home, and unfortunately, Caden Manders, who stalked Kingshot for the majority of the feature race, has been passed with maybe 150 metres to go. But yeah, Callum Williamson's just banged the top in 3 and 4. Caden's just got caught up, unfortunately, with lappers that lappers seemed to be quite bad that night. But yeah, obviously, Callum Williamson has taken out that feature race. Caden Manders in 2nd, Ryan Newton from 12th or 13th to 3rd. The Madman, famous for opening intros there, he's come in on the Diamond Bay Motorsports into 4th, and then Dane Kingshot's, he must have went 1st to 5th in 3 laps.
Yeah, I think, like, I watched the Clay Per-View replay yesterday, and yeah, I think it was like lap 4, he was still in 2nd, or 4 to go, he was still in 2nd, and then, yeah, like you said, I'm not really sure what happened, but it just seemed to fade really quickly, whether it was mechanical or... Yeah, so probably one that got away for Dane. And yeah, like even Caden, like I rate him. He's probably one of the smartest drivers in the country, and he just made one probably wrong decision. If he could take that lap back, he would have railed the top and gone around those lappers. But yeah, he just made one wrong move, and yeah, Callum was able to capitalise and get the win. So.
Yeah, he's been unlucky. Like even Adelaide, he could have had a really good result, but he's obviously come together at one of the points in with Dane Kingshot at Adelaide. Otherwise, he would have been way further up. Like they seem way faster than that. But that's we said it 20 times on this podcast already that you're in with how competitive this series is and the drivers are. Like Caden, he's fucked up half a corner for the whole night, and he's lost because of it.
Yeah, literally, like one mistake, and that's unfortunately like in that class, that's all it takes is you make one wrong move in lap traffic or something like that, and that costs you the win. So Yeah, got a feel for him in that one. That's definitely one that got away for him.
Yeah, but even like Dane, like I'm just looking now, his best lap times are 13.1, and it looks like this next best lap times are 13.7. So he's 0.6 faster than anyone, and even his top speed is 145 k's an hour, and like Callum and Caden are 138 and 139. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
this early in that race, that thing was gone. And like you said, if you've got a good car early in the night, you better fucking go because you're going to have a shit one at the end.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, like he was definitely the car to beat, you know, and it's one of those things, you know, you think you're going to put together a perfect night, and he probably even said it in the episode last week. You know, it's you think you're going to have a perfect night and you haven't made any mistakes, and all of a sudden, you know, you're first to fifth in a matter of laps. So, yeah, unfortunate for them, but they'll bounce back, you know. So
Yeah, they definitely. I'm just thinking about that. Mate, that's 145 around Bunbury is not okay. You're not allowed to do that. That's way too quick.
That's all. And, you know, like even after, like we were watching hot laps, obviously that first session that went out, we were on the race monitor, and I think they were doing like 20-second or 22-second laps. And literally by the end of that hot lap group, they were in the 13s. And you know, I was standing with a couple of the boys and I was like, fucking hell, they're hooking. Like, that's fast.
Yeah, I reckon I was in the middle for it. I reckon Callum Williamson was in that first group, mate. He genuinely looked like me out there in the first lap. Like, yeah, he was horrendous. I was like, what? He just looked so slow. And it's like, he's a wild dude. Like, he's on it straight away. And they all looked, it was like they were on an ice rink. And then, like you said, like 6 laps later, he's just full noise. Like, yeah, it did come really quick. But I reckon at the start of the year when they broke that lap record, I think that lap record was only about 146 k's an hour at the Motorplex. You know, when they, like 13 people broke that lap record in a row.
Yep.
From memory, it was only like, it was like mid 140s, and Dane's done 145 at Bunbury in a feature.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I guess
that's flying, eh?
Yeah, that just shows, you know, how fast the track was that night. And yeah, you know, like even we were sort of standing in, you know, like the viewing area in the pits there, and just watching them like come out of two and sail it down the back straight. Like, you can just tell.
It was quick.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, the track definitely, it was definitely fast that night for sure.
Yeah. Bradley Mayolo, 6th, and Jamie 7th. Those boys, yeah, I do wonder how much of the night was taken up with other things for them, with how it turned out with the lack of the track prep and all the issues. Like, they seemed to be really involved in the running of the night, and obviously because it went to shit, then, you know, what they were required to do doubled or tripled, and like their crew was out on the track for half the night trying to make sure that was all good and make sure the track prep was sweet. So yeah, I wonder with the curveball that was thrown at them, how much that took away from their night. And then in 8th place, we got Taylor Milling, the fast worm. He snuck forward a fair few positions as well. Yeah, I spoke to him. You'll hear that interview later. Chris Coyle, I tipped him for the win and being off the front row, and he seemed fast. He won his heat, and yeah, he sort of just drifted back. And then, yeah, one I want to speak about, Jason Kendrick. He was 4th at one stage, and yeah, he maybe was a victim somewhat like Dane Kingshot. Their cars were so awesome early in the night, and they moved forward that, yeah, late in the night, the car just went away from him, and he went from 4th back to 10th. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I didn't realise he dropped that far back. Yeah, he did look really fast early on. I think, did he quick time?
Yeah, it seemed like... It did seem quite odd with that quick time with how it went out, because it's, yeah, from speaking to some teams, it sounded like they were told hot laps were hot laps. Other teams were told hot laps were quick time, and it turns out hot laps was actually qualifying.
Yeah, okay. Bit of confusion there then.
Yeah, what do you do, mate? Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the lap chart here. Yeah, Kendrick got up to 4th and then drifted back to 10th, and yeah, there's plenty of people that had wild nights, like Andrew Piolo. He got right up there to 9th, and he obviously spun and went back. And yeah, it just seemed like a bit of a crazy night. And the track just looked difficult for him. Like, when these guys are making mistakes, you know the track's hard because everyone here can drive a car. And yeah, there was lots and lots of issues, and the track was pretty wild. It was really racy. Jason Pride moved forward a bit. I know, yeah, they were one of the victims of believing that hot laps were hot laps when in actual fact they were qualifying. So they weren't too fast because they were held up by like cars that were a lot slower than them. So they didn't really push the issue too much to then be told that was your qualifying time. So they were spewing, and yeah, spoke with Cody Lawrence there throughout the meeting, and it was pretty cool actually. It was just Cody and Jason there, you know, like full sprint car rig and at a track that's not at home, and it was just a driver and one crew chief, and they battled away all night, mate. And then, yeah, Jason moved forward in the feature pretty well and ended up 12th. Miles Bolger, it's pretty good here. I wouldn't have thought that he'd beat like Michael Keane and Priolo. But yeah, pretty wild night in the end for the sprint cars.
Yeah, no, definitely, I guess. It's one of those things, you know, and especially, I mean, they put him out, second feature?
Yeah.
After the midget. So,
yep.
Yeah, they definitely gave him a racy track, you know, which is what you want. Like, I think, and the driver said it, you know, like 2 lanes, heaps of passing. That's what the fans want to see. And yeah, it's probably fun for them too. Like, you kind of know when you go to Bunbury, it's kind of cowboy up a bit. But yeah, no, I reckon it was probably, one of the best features so far this year for sure.
Yeah. And just while I remember, one thing I was touched on is like I was watching the feature race from up in the stands, and Callum Williamson, he jumped that curb and he started drifting back. He was getting past and stuff like that, and I was watching him reasonably close. And then Kerry Madsen, obviously, you know, maybe arguably the best we've ever produced. Him and James McFadden most likely, but I think Kerry's got like double the World of Outlaw wins. But anyway, he came right up and he threw like 2 big passes at Williamson, and I was sort of like, oh, he's drifting back. You might just let him go. And yeah, Callum must just have that dog in him, because he fought tooth and nail while his car wasn't there. And then it just seemed like the tide turned for Callum, and because he fought so hard for that position and to keep it when it looked like Kerry had every right to pass him, but Callum just didn't let him go. And then that seemed to be like the catalyst of his moving forward. So he was back in like 6th or 7th at that time. He's fought tooth and nail for that spot. Then the cars come to him and he just slowly then starts moving forward to eventually win that feature race. And it sort of taught me a little bit about the mindset of like he's battling for 6th or 7th, but still trying to figure out how to win.
Yeah, definitely. I think I watched the interview after the race, and you know, he said to him, you know, did you think this was going to be a conservation race? And he goes, well, that was the plan at the start, but obviously once he'd, you know, had that little hiccup and bounced back to 7th, I think it was.
Yeah,
he kind of thought, oh fuck, I've got to kind of get going here now. So yeah, I don't think you can ever count him out. Like, and he can steer. Like, yeah, like watching him even at the Motorplex and that. Like, I don't think you can ever really count Callum out. Yeah, he's definitely always going to give it a red hot crack for sure.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, he's a wild man. I can't wait to interview him. I hope he comes in here soon enough and we get to do a good interview with him, mate. I think it'll be awesome, mate. And then, yeah, the speed cars are the first feature race of the night. Again, spanner in the works for them. Like, their program was thrown around and all of that. But I quickly becoming like a massive fan of the speed cars. One, because it's awesome racing, but two, that it's like there's a lot of lads in that class, eh? Like that podium, like Tom Payette, Cody Nash, and Nick Rowe. Like, almost if you had a party of Speedway crew, like they're the first 3 invited. It seems like they all seem like legends, and wild night for them. They had a lot of issues. I think I'm just looking here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 DNFs and 4 finishes. But yeah, it's probably a testament to the track and how tough it was, particularly with the smaller cars. What are just before we get into these results, when it's rough like that, is it way worse than a speed car because of the wheel sizes?
Look, I'm going to assume so. I've only ever driven one on a practice night, but yeah, I think the problem is obviously they've got no, you know, wing pushing them down. So there's so much more sideways. So when they're going through the holes, you know, they're hitting them like vertically, you know. So okay. I think that's probably one of the things why they're just a wild machine. Like, yeah, you know, you often say that people even I watched the race on the weekend with Larson running the midget and the 360, and he even said, he goes exactly sort of the same thing. The speed car was just like going through the holes. it was just like crazy. Whereas the sprint car, it's kind of the wings planting him onto the track, so they're riding the bumps a lot better. So, yeah, I can only imagine what it's like in the car.
Yeah, well, Tommy Payette, no surprises. I actually, thought for a second I was real smart because I picked the podium, but then I'm like, well, that was probably always going to be. So I'm probably not where I think I am. But yeah, Tommy Payette, mate, class act. Fuck, he's fast. He's good. He's stalked him in the heat race. He just never seems to miss. Like when there's a gap, he goes for it. Like there's some of these stupid videos where he slides like 4 cars in a row. And I remember asking someone, I'm like, he is exciting to watch, but I'm like, why is he exciting? I don't know why, but he is exciting when you watch. I don't know what makes him different to everyone else, but he's a wild man and he's real exciting to watch.
Yeah, he is. I don't know, even in the wingless days, this was before I was racing, but you can never count him out. Like he's always going to have a red hot crack, and obviously that Bennett Motorsport team is top notch equipment, so the car's never going to let him down. The only thing that's ever going to let him down is himself, really, which doesn't happen very often. So yeah, I'd say he's probably, you'd have to say the best currently, in the country, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Really looking forward to seeing the results of the East Coast swing.
Yeah, I love it when the WA teams go over there and have a red hot crack because you never see it coming the other way, and it's just probably a testament to these guys because I think they're the best, and the best test themselves, and there's no one coming from the east to test themselves over here because they probably know what's going to happen. They'll probably get a bit of chop, bit of that there, and get set back over east for their tail between the legs. But then Cody Nash. Yeah, East Coast Concrete, the Lee Redmond car there, they give him a really good car, and yeah, you'll hear about it in a minute. His podium strike rate at the moment is nearly 50%. So I was really impressed after speaking to him about it. He's just fully new to the class and doesn't know like the intricacies and stuff like that. He just and you'll hear he doesn't really know exactly what's going on in the car and in terms of setup and stuff like that, which I actually like because he's got an idea and he just gets in that thing and just goes like. So it's like once he learns all the rest of that and he can give like better feedback than probably what he is now. Like he's already on the podium when all that starts coming to him as well, and he could be a real force to be reckoned with. And same thing, that car is obviously a very, very good car, and Lee Redmond gives him a really good package. Cody's dad and Bailey, they're obviously swinging the spanners on the thing, and yeah, he could be anything as well. And then yeah, he's another wingless graduate.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I'm not exactly sure what he raced before he stepped into wingless, or whether they did race anything. Obviously, Lee, they've been around for 100 years, and they're switched on and they know exactly what they're doing. But yeah, definitely, they got good gear, and he's probably one of those guys that you kind of know when you see someone come in, like they've either got it or they don't, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he's probably one of them, like just no fear, has a crack. So yeah, he'll definitely only get better from here. And yeah, it's good. It's good for the category as well, So there's got to be someone to challenge, Tommy and those other guys at the front. So yeah, he's only going to get better from here, definitely.
Yeah, just a matter of time before I seen he put up a little thing like piss off over East, Tommy. I'm trying to get a race win or something, but. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before he's right there with Tom because, yeah, obviously Tom at the moment is a bit of a class above. He won by 6.6 seconds on the weekend on quite a rough track with a few restarts, so I'm not sure when the last restart would have went ahead, but he didn't get 20 clear laps. But, yeah, Cody's right there, and then the blonde bombshell they called him on the coverage there, Nicholas Rowe, the Carnarvon man, he's come down, he's put that Link Chassis Total Tools Rockingham number 3 on the podium there. He's got a pretty good strike rate, and he seems to be getting a lot better once he figures this car out. Like the race for the podium and the win hopefully soon between Payette, Nash and Rowe and Jake Robertson, all that. It's going to be really competitive.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I think that was Rowy's first night out in that new chassis. So, I think, previous to that, he'd probably been rocking up with a knife to a gunfight in the old banger that he had. But, yeah, I think he's really excited. Like, those Link chassis seem to be really cool. And the Robinsons, they're a professional outfit. So yeah, it'd be awesome to see. Hopefully they can take off and just get some more cars in the division.
Yeah, Chris Timmick in fourth. He was the other finisher, and then obviously everyone else is a DNF. So yeah, Jake Robertson, unlucky. I think he said he had a power steering issue or a steering box issue, so he just had to pull it in, and he was running second, and he looked really good. His lap times are extremely competitive, but yeah, he obviously just had to pull in while running second, which is unfortunate. Aaron Sharpe as well. Keenan Fleming, he just got unlucky. He was moving forward. He was really fast. Yeah, he just got unlucky with the car turning in front of him, and he's just gone end over end, and yeah, that was the end of his night.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's unfortunately, I think everyone who goes out on the racetrack, they know that there's potential for something like that to happen, and I think most of the times when you're in those wrecks, usually they're no fault of your own. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But yeah, unlucky for them, but they'll bounce back. I think I saw something they'd stripped the car already the next day and had a new one underway. So they'll be back this week, definitely.
Yeah, that was wild. Actually, while I speak of that, the same thing happened with Joel Ettridge's team. He obviously had the big crash in that feature race. And it was like the next morning, he's like, whatever, crashing shit, but look at the lads I get to speak with, and there's like a little beehive, a little ant's nest of crew just working on the car. They're all stripping it down, and his interview is pretty sick. So if you want to watch that, that's on that Managing Toyota Sprint Car Series. Like, he's obviously gutted about what happened and all that, but they're just, we'll do everything we can to make sure we're there next Saturday night. Like, I love that mentality, and yeah, he obviously would have been gutted with how it happened. It's no fault of his own, and big crash, and it's obviously a massive financial cost, and saddle up and let's go again.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I don't know the bloke, but I've seen him obviously come through the limiteds, and he was super fast in them. And I think they got a 360, and then obviously stepped up to the 410s this year. So yeah, they're probably one of those guys that don't have a massive budget, like some of the other teams. So, a tear up like that for them, that could be half the season's budget, but yeah, I did see that post. That was pretty sick. Him and his mates in the shed getting the car ready. So yeah, hopefully he'll be back out this week to have another crack.
Yeah. Just to finish up, Keenan Fleming, like, it sounds like he's all okay. It was a pretty big one for him, but yeah, he seems fine. And then obviously after the speed cars, sprint cars finish, and then the mighty wingless sprints, the heart and soul of the Speedway community, they've rolled out for their feature race, mate. They're the mud flickers that go out there and sort the track out for the rest of the boys. But yeah, another masterclass from Blake Owen now, mate. Like, these blokes ruin people's lives. Like I said, that's what I said when like Tommy Britton won that first race in Albany. I said to someone, I was like, Owen's ruined people's lives. Like, Tommy Britton's like a good driver, and he's never won. Like, these blokes just collect everything but they never put themselves in a bad position. They are so clever in their heat races to move themselves forward. Like, they rarely make mistakes. It's difficult for us battlers, mate. Like, there's two of the best wingless drivers out in the country in our little domestic series here. So yeah, you've obviously raced them a lot more than me, and I'm just sort of learning how good they are, because yeah, they don't run like the flashless equipment, like, which is what I assumed coming into it. I just thought that they had the best of everything. But yeah, after hearing like Matt speak, because you don't really hear Blake speak, but hearing Matt speak, someone asked him like, how do you square the front end? He's like, man, I just make sure my shocks look about even, and I'll tighten the thing up. Like, yeah. So yeah, they're wild men behind the wheel. They're really, really good.
Yeah, look, they are, and I said it before. There's guys that come into the sport, and you kind of just know, yep, these guys have got it, and yeah, those two have definitely got it. Even like me and Matt raced junior sedans when we were teenagers together, and same thing. He was winning races back then, and obviously then Blake came through and just won everything in junior sedans, and yeah, now we're all racing wingless, and yeah, they're just, I don't know what it is. Like, they're always at the front. I think it's one of those things, like, people probably don't really see, even though this is an entry level category, the amount of work that you sort of have to put in, like I'd probably say, even speaking for myself, I'm probably in the shed every night for at least 2 hours, 3 hours, stripping everything down, just checking everything, that sort of thing. So, and that would be no different. And that's sort of what it is, I guess. But yeah, they are really good, you know, and any time you can beat them or be on the podium with them, you can probably say you've had a pretty good night.
Nah, they, if anyone watches on pay-per-view, you could just tell, like, they're good in the feature races, but I think the heat races is what sets them apart. They come from anywhere to be finishing up the top, so their racecraft is pretty good. And yeah, then a friend of the show, Travis Armstrong, he's come through in third. It was a pretty stock standard feature race. Like Blake got out in front. Matt did come up from maybe 3 or 4, and he's taken the win. But yeah, Travis Armstrong, he's been really, really consistent this year. Obviously, Albany was pretty dog shit for him, and yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with him there. But maybe Chad needs to get back from Spain and just help him out a bit. But yeah, he was good. Darren Humphries, he moved forward in the feature race, more back to his old self. He actually had the fastest lap. Sorry, no, Tom Britton had the fastest lap, and then Darren Humphries. So yeah, he moved forward. Tommy Britton, obviously, yeah, a disappointing weekend for him considering he blitzed everyone in Albany and then ended up 5th at Bunbury.
Yeah, no, I think he'd be pretty disappointed. Obviously, yeah, after Albany when he sort of made us all look stupid down there. Yeah, with that one heat race deal on the weekend, that sort of stuffed him up when he had that little hiccup in the heat race, and he obviously had to start off the rear. But yeah, he was moving. Yeah, he was definitely quick, and yeah, you know, like Tommy's an awesome dude, and it was so cool to see him win that feature, you know, and like you said, you know, you said you couldn't believe that he hadn't won a feature.
Mate, yeah. We need to get these on now, some sponsors, so he can get in a sprint car and get out of the wingless so the rest of us normal people have a chance. But yeah, like, even if you're looking at the feature race, like most people's fastest laps are from lap 2 to 4. Tommy's fastest lap's lap 13, and he's the fastest lap of the race. So
yeah.
like once he got clear of traffic, obviously, that NT7 there, who's your sponsors? All Talk Engineering, and they did the engine. He reckoned that thing's like a bullet. So, yeah, clearly, because he's faster than anyone, and like nearly second last lap of the race, he's the fastest.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, once you got past those sort of other cars in the mid pack there, yeah, he was hauling. Like he reeled the cars in front of him in within a couple of laps, and we were watching him at the end there in turn 3, and he got on the back of Darren, and I thought, geez, he's going to have a cracky around the top, and he sailed it in, biked it up, but yeah, and he'll be back. He's always there or thereabouts. So
yeah, and then in 6, man, Robbie Clark in the TBE group, just a pretty steady night all night. Just happy that they get to put that thing back straight, and they've had no issues. They've had a bit of a rough run, and then just moving down. Jeffrey Underdown, just tipped the thing upside down, just a racing incident. He was no good with that car. It sounds like that thing might have a fair bit of damage. And then probably the biggest crash of the night was Cody Clayton. That thing went end over end, and he was quite high in the air.
Yep. Yeah, that thing was a bell ringer. Like, again, just unfortunately, just an innocent victim and in the wrong place at the wrong time there. So, but yeah, I think he was all right. I seen him sprinting through the pits afterwards, taking his fucked shocks to wherever he was going. And I
think was that Glenn Beaton? Does he run those slades as well? He was running that way.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, hopefully he's all good. But yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, because I said, do you want to do an interview? He's like, fuck, I can't tell you much. And I was like, oh, righto. So I just left him to it. He was sort of trying to get the car back on the trailer, so I left him. And then the last class of the night, they got sent out the end, the 360s, mate. Obviously, Ryan Farrell won that one. Mikey Green, Aaron Cherkop come from probably he qualified all right, I think. But yeah, just he seemed a little bit off that night. And then Daniel Hardigan, yeah, he's won a fair few, but he was 4th overall in the night. And then Gavin Oil was the only other finisher.
Yeah, no, the 360s, I actually sat up in the stands and watched that feature. Yeah, Mikey, like, I've obviously heard of him, you know, when he was coming through formulas and stuff, and then seen he stepped up to the 360s. But yeah, watching him race on the weekend, like, he was throwing some massive bombs into 3, like, underneath cars, and I'm thinking, far out. Yeah, he can definitely steer. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see, where he sort of goes from here for sure.
Yeah. So he did pretty good, and yeah, just looking at the lap chart, it didn't seem like too many places. Like Jaron Bilby started 2nd. He dropped off a little bit to 4th. Not too many, but the track was pretty garbage. Or not garbage, but obviously they were the last feature race out in the night, and they were probably all pretty keen to make sure that the cars went back straight. And yeah, when there's half the field DNF'd and half the field finished, so five finished and 5 parked it up early. Danny Golding, I'm assuming that he had engine issues because he never even went out for the feature.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. And I seen they were packed up pretty early on in the night, and then when I watched the replay last night, I think he went out for heat 1 and saw some smoke or something from sort of towards the end of the race. So not too sure what happened, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's probably, if you think you might have an issue, it's probably not worth hurting the motor or whatever. Just take it home and reassess and
Park it
go
up
again.
Yeah, make sure you're ready for next week. So yeah, so I sort of have started this thing where I jump around the pits and try and have a chat with all sorts of random people. So yeah, I'll throw that on now, and I know sponsors takes are almost annoying on podcasts because I skip them as well. But yeah, this one is brought to you by MatLab Co. That's Travis Armstrong. All your pit mats, anything for your truck, anything you need, jump on Instagram and listen to them. But yeah, I apologise. I've listened back to this. I say mate a lot, and I also thought the mic would be way shitter than what it was because there was races going on in the background. So I spoke really loud, and yeah, you'll hear that. But these are the post-race interviews from Bunbury. All right, just here with the Work Area podcast. We got second place in the speed car finish here. Cody Nash in the East Side Concrete 52. Mate, thing was pretty decent all night.
Yeah, it was. It was good coming to another track, and obviously it'll be spoken about how the night started, but it's good. We come down here to go on a different surface, and we had 3 different surfaces tonight. But it was good. The car was pretty balanced. It's more just a learning curve for me. It's still early days, and I've only ever raced a speed car at Motorplex and then a couple of tracks over east. So everything's different, and yeah, happy to learn and happy that we're still a podium again. So.
Mate, I got a little clip of you in hot laps. I threw it up. Did you think you shared it? You were so close to the wall.
Oh, yeah. It was like a motocross rhythm section down the back straight. It was pretty unpredictable, and luckily we only had 3 laps because I don't think we would have lasted any longer than that, but they turned it around and gave us a good track. It was tricky, it was rough, and that's Bunbury, but it was raceable. It was the most important thing, so we got to learn a lot.
Mate, what do you reckon your strike rate is for podiums? Like, every time you come out, you seem to be jumping on one, mate. So you must be stoked how the car's going and how you're driving.
Yeah, I've got a wicked package here with obviously Lee Redmond supplying it, and then all the sponsors, they back us real heavily. And I got Dad flicking the spanners for me, and he's been around this for his entire life, and I trust him with my life in this thing. And yeah, we were trying to find it actually. I reckon I'm 50-50 for podiums and not podiums so far to start their career. So can't complain too much as I'm sick of coming second now. I wouldn't want to win sometime soon, but yeah, we can't really complain about that.
What sort of feedback do you have in terms of the car? Like, are you telling them what to change, or do you just let them make the choice?
I usually just let them make the choice because I'm honestly still trying to wrap my head around it myself. I sort of explain in a driver's term what it feels like, and then that's why I'm lucky to have Dad. He's been there and done it himself, and he can sort of relay that into the mechanical side of it, and then the boys get to work and they tell me what they've done. I don't know what it means, but they tell me it's going to be tight, loose, and I think it works well. I'm learning more, and obviously I flick the spanners on my brother's limited, and I learn probably more there than I do in racing this thing, to be honest, and that's probably a big wake-up call the last few weeks.
Nah, solid night for the team then, because yeah, hot laps, heat race and feature, you couldn't progress the car along with the track because it was different every single time. So who is the one that sort of makes all the decisions on the car?
I'd say it was Dad. Like, Dad and Lee work together. Lee's obviously got a lot of laps in these things, and at the end of the day, it's his car, and yeah, he had success himself in it. So I think he here also back in the solo days, he's raced around a lot of these different tracks. And then I think Dad's a bit of a geek when it comes to the setup side of things, and he loves studying it and the shocks and whatnot. So we work together. But I think yeah, Lee and Dad have their say, and they work together pretty well with it.
Nah, epic, mate. Cheers. Thanks for jumping on, and we'll see you at the Motorplex. Just here with Jake Robertson after the speed car feature, mate. Ended up 6th in that one, did you?
Yeah, ended up parked up on the infield, unfortunately, really late. Running second there for most of the race, and blew a power steering line and sort of tried to drive through it, and just ended up with a box locked on. So we got a couple of weeks to race coming up, so I thought we'd park on the infield and be safe.
Pretty hectic night, mate. Seemed to have 3 different tracks that you had to try and deal with. You make car changes yourself, or you got someone doing that for you?
I got my guys and my old boys, our crew chief and Mitch, and my brother as well. He's working on the Monty car at the moment, but we sort of lean on him a lot through race night as well. So they did a good job to make me fast at the start of the night. We were quick time at the start of the night. And then the track, they brought it back honestly, it was a miracle to bring it back. And then the fact it dished up a fast, juiced up racetrack was really cool. So made it pretty hard to suppose stay on top of. But we were all right in our heat race, and we were really good in the feature. Just had a bit of bad luck.
Mate, that Link chassis seems to be flying for you, mate. They've been really good for your program.
Absolutely, man. Link chassis are on rails at the moment. Nick Rowe was in one tonight. Debuted running up on the podium as well. So great for him, great for the brand. Super excited to keep pushing them out there. And the more people in them, I guarantee the more wins we get.
Mate, you want to get a feature race, buy a Link chassis there, mate. But no, the car seemed good all night. We spoke about it earlier. The Speedway as a whole needs this track to go well. And yeah, like you said, for it to come back from what it was when we first looked at it, like it's a credit to the guys that were out there. And we needed to get it going, and they got it going.
Absolutely. Credit to Bunbury Speedway, everyone involved. I know Jeff Kendrick and the SCG guys had a big role to play today, but to not throw the towel in was a miracle. It is literally a miracle. We turned up today and it was like racing on concrete, and they've turned it into a super fast, juiced up joint. So credit to them, credit to everyone involved.
Epic, mate. This sprint car race is about to get back underway. So yeah, thanks for jumping on. Well done for tonight. Unlucky with the car, but we'll see you back at the track somewhere. Just here after the 410 feature race with the 25 totally workwear. Taylor Milling, mate, yeah, just said it. The fast worm come back a little bit tonight, mate. You started moving forward?
I did, mate. A few more laps. I might have been able to get a couple more, but it doesn't help when you start that far back.
8th in that feature race. What's sort of like a pass mark for you?
Look, I know I'm like a top 5 car, so it's disappointing when I'm not there, but the competition in this Maddington Toyota Series is so strong that on any night, you know, your top 10 can finish in any order, but I'd like to consider myself a top 5 car.
Did you guys get sort of stuffed around? It seems like everyone's had a little bit of bad luck with how hot laps or hot laps / qualifying, whatever it was. How did that work out for you guys?
Yeah, it was, mate. I mean, the general consensus of the drivers at the start of the night was, you know, we got to kind of band together and possibly not go out there if they didn't do anything to the track. But credit to the Bunbury Speedway, they went out there and ribbed it and put some water on it and ended up giving us a racetrack. So everyone's in the same boat. We did what we could, but like you said, the combined hot laps and time trials in the same group, if you've unfortunately got a slow car in front of you, it kind of makes it hard for you.
Mate, I had a chat with Dane Kingshot last night. He was telling me you might be a bit of a golfer. Is that true?
An aspiring golfer, mate. I'm a man of too many hobbies and a master of none, but I keep telling Dane, yes, buy a set of clubs, mate, because when you take it up, you wish you took it up earlier.
That's exactly what he said last night, mate. When did you last get out on course?
When it had driving range during the week, I try and do that, try and blow off some steam. That's about it.
Epic, mate. Too easy. Thanks for the chat. Well on tonight, and see you next week. All right, I'm here with Robbie Clark, the 34 TPE Group wingless. Mate, how was that?
Track was hard yards, but I enjoyed it. I really did.
What'd you end up coming?
Well, what did we get? I think we would have come in 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
5th, I reckon.
Yeah, just early, you guys were all bicycling and coming into 3. It just looked like there was going to be a big crash. There obviously was a few, but was it tough out there to drive?
It was hard yards. I usually laugh every time I come in, how easy and, you know, I don't huff and puff and I've got sweat. I'm sweating, so I'm feeling it in the body too. It was rough. Felt like the old motocross days after a sand track.
Mate, you've come from Shrubland Park only just up the road and it looked like the same conditions.
It was rough, but I'll tell you what, I do like it when it gets rough as well. The hole, I like it when there's more holes in the track and everyone backs out and I just pedal through it like it's a motocross bike again, I suppose, over a big braking bump or whatever. And yeah, I love powering through it.
It looked like all the bumps were huge at the start of that race, and then towards the end, you guys have sort of ironed it out. Is that what it was like for you?
Yeah, it took a little while to work it out throughout the race. I'm a bit of a slow learner. It takes me a little while to get going, but once I found, I think with 2 more laps or 3 more laps to go, I found the fast line, but that's too far. That's too long. You know?
It looked the 3 blokes at the front were definitely had a wheel on that curb like the whole time. They just seemed to run a little bit lower than you, but yeah, you are right. Once you found your groove, you started to drive well and started picking off your spots, mate. You happy with that?
I'm happy with that. The car's in one piece. It nearly wasn't. Me and Tommy in the second heat or first heat come together, but yeah, I'm happy the car's all in one piece. Get ready for the next weekend.
Mate, finish the feature, put it on straight. That's a win down here, isn't it?
Thanks, Kurt. Appreciate it.
Done. Cheers. Here with Tommy Britton, the NT7 All Talk Engineering. Fuck that Speedway, mate. Last week on top of the world, can't be beaten, and he just seemed to be up against it all night.
Yeah, it just wasn't really quite my night tonight. On the back foot straight away. I sort of made a mistake going into one on the first corner there on the first race and come together with another guy and spun out, went to the rear and then just couldn't pass from there. So I started from the rear then and had a little bit of bad. A couple of guys went over and then got a couple of spots and track was up and about, so she was pretty heavy and crazy. But yeah, I got spun out there in front of under down there. Sorry to him. Yeah.
All good, mate. Was it then 4th in the end? 5th?
You ended up 5th. I started hunting them guys down the front there, and yeah, I pushed the front of the car across a little bit, so we'll have to get that straightened during the week and, yeah, have another go. Have a go at the motorplex.
Mate, I seen you send it in on that very last lap. You were close to getting Darren there at the end. The car was fast, obviously, but yeah, you just had to go from too far back in the end. But the car's moving pretty well for you?
Yeah, everything's going well. Yeah, like got Buzzy there from the shock shop there, helping me out with the shocks, and everything's going well with that. So Sambo there at ASB and Trent from TD Modulars. So Jerry from All Talk Engineering for the bullet under the hood. Everything's been going well so far. I just put myself in a bit of on the back foot straight away, and once we started to get moving in that feature race, it's just track position really, so that sort of let me down. But we got a little bit to work with. Let's go to the Motorplex on Saturday and see where we go from there.
Mate, just lastly, was that fun out there? Because it actually did not look fun. It looked like everyone was almost tiptoeing coming into some corners because just how rough it was. Was it fun or was it hectic?
It was hectic, but I kind of like the elbows up kind of racing. You just got to get up and about and throw your balls over your shoulder and have a crack, really.
Nah, sweet, mate. Congrats on last weekend. And yeah, tonight could have been, but yeah, well done.
Thank you.
I'm here with Travis Armstrong in the TPE group number 6, All Talk Engineering backed as well. Mate, how was that for you?
Rough, very rough. Yeah, just had to hang on in the end. Just happy to finish and bring it home straight.
Did that track get better as it went on? Because early, you 3 leaders coming in just looked like you were tiptoeing coming into 3 and 4.
Yeah, we sort of were. I was just looked like Matt was following what Blake was doing. I was following what Matt was doing. I wasn't really game enough to go to the top and have a crack. It's sort of a bit of a nothing race. I don't really feel like building a car next week. But yeah, the track was to what it was at the start of the night to where it was. I think Bunbury done a pretty reasonable job to get it back to that.
Mate, you have ended up on the podium, but you'd be stoked just to put this thing back in straight tonight. Like you said, the track, from what it started with to what they got it from, at least we got the races done, and it turned out not too bad in the end, but it looks like it's just starting to break down, that track.
Yeah, it's obviously a bit disappointing to go backwards after putting it off pole, but look, yeah, mate, we'll take it. The car's straight. We go again next week and back to the Motorplex where we're a bit familiar there with the surface, and hopefully we can have a good run there.
Mate, yeah, but still, you've been real good this year, mate, getting podiums and stuff like that. Albany wasn't the greatest for you, but you must be stoked with how the car's gone.
Yeah, this is our 3rd podium from 4 starts, so we're having a pretty consistent start to the season. Last week was a bit of a letdown, but hopefully we can build off this and go a couple better next week and get a win.
Too easy. Cheers, mate. Thank you. All right, here with Brody Moller, crew chief of the 3, the Williamson Motorsports number 3. Mate, what a night.
Fuck, it was definitely a hectic night, mate. I mean, we started, I think everyone was a little bit worried early. I mean, the way the track was and everything, but they worked it out and they got it going. We qualified 2nd in our group, won the heat, and then started out of 3 in the feature, dropped back to 7th, and I thought we were actually going to come last at one point. We're that bad, but he worked it out and got moving. Got the lead on the last lap there.
Mate, it's exactly like you said in our interview that we spoke about in the studio there. Not great at the start of the night when it's full of fuel, and then it comes good at the end, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, he blew into the cushion there in a 3 on, I think it was the 3rd or the 4th lap, and just in these things with a full fuel load, you can't really do that. And we biked it, and I think we dropped back to 7th or something, but yeah, once the fuel load started to come off, and once he started to move and work the bottom out and get it rolling, yeah, he made it work. And
was it hard, mate, with how there was so many unknowns with how the night was even going to run, and what was hot laps, what was qualifying, all that? You didn't get as much a look at the track as what you normally do, and you sort of were guessing the whole time because of what they're doing with the track. How hard was it tonight to even know what to set the car up for?
Yeah, it was definitely hard early in the night, mate. I mean, we come here and it was almost rubber down in hot laps for the speed cars. So I was like, we need to tighten this thing up. It's gonna be a long night. Gonna have to mount some tires tonight. But then they obviously got to work with the grader and the ripper and ripped it up, and all of a sudden it's 180 degrees the other way. We're trying to free up as much as we can, and just gone from laying rubber to, I think it was 12.9 in the heat race or something like that, which is from one extreme to the other.
Nah, mate, you got to be pumped with the night. But mate, the track tonight would suit the Outback Outlaws. What do you think?
The Outback Outlaws.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
They're coming, the Outback Outlaws.
Well, hey, everyone's up and about for it.
Remember that? You made me laugh then.
Hey, everybody talks about it now.
Fucking hell.
You put me on.
So yeah, there we go. There's a few interviews, something that we're going to try and crank out after every race. Speak to some different people, not just sort of the podium finishers, more of the stories of the night and the people behind the sport. So yeah, again, apologise. I say mate a lot. I'll try and square that away for the next time, and yeah, I'll scream it into the mic because I thought those races in the background were gonna interfere with it, but obviously the mics are pretty decent, and yeah, obviously it sounded pretty average for me, but yeah, in the end, I still thought it was good. It's good to hear from all those fellas, mate. It's pretty interesting to hear how people's nights went and the little things that you don't realise are happening behind the scenes. Hopefully we can try and highlight a few of them things. Hey, but moving on, Sharpie, mate, we got a big weekend. There's obviously the Fast Friday this weekend, which is an awesome initiative. It's almost like more of the entry level and the people that are more new to the sport get to go down and have a crack and drive and race without being worried about getting in people's way and stuff like that. But I'm not going to touch on that too much just because of how sick this Saturday night's going to be, mate. The John Day Classic and the WA Sprint Car State title. Has your big rig, mate, she's ready to roll out on Saturday night?
Yeah, she will be. We've put in a few nights, obviously missing Bunbury, so we didn't have to do too much after the weekend. But yeah, it should be ready to go. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think we got 33 cars entered.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. But yeah, no, looking forward to it. Should be good. Yeah,
because the Motorplex in total is expecting over 100 and something cars for the weekend. So it'll be a massive field, and yeah, I think they put it up. It was up to about 104, and the entries hadn't closed yet. So yeah, it'll be a massive weekend, and the speed cars will be good. Obviously, all the other classes are pretty standard, but the speed cars will be really exciting, pretty much because Tom Payette has gone as well. So genuinely is going to be a full barn burner for the win. Like, yeah, Robertson was obviously extremely fast until we had a mechanical, so he'll be out. But then, Cody Nash, Nicholas Rowe, Chris Dimmick, it'll be a red hot crack. And then I'm not sure if the Golding boys will be bringing their cars out or not. I haven't seen the entries for the speed cars, but yeah, that'll be a wicked event for that John Day Classic.
Yeah, no, that'll be awesome. Like the John Day's always good. I think usually they get, some form of interstate or American guy comes, but I don't think there's anyone in for this year. So
you just carry the ship for a bit there, mate. I'll have a quick look at this WA speed car site and see if they've got the entry list going.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, definitely it'll be interesting to see without Buddha here. It throws a bit of a spanner in the works for everyone else. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see like guys like Cody and Rowie in that new car. They'll obviously be working hard to dial that thing in for this week. Jake Robbo, Chris Dimmick, and yeah, like you said, whether Dan Golding's going to bring their car out. I'm not too sure if they have any plans for Caden to run in the car this year or not.
Jesus, Caden's fast in that thing too.
Oh man, he's it was awesome watching him and Tom battle it out last season, and so yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they put him in the car for any shows this year. I think they do have a few plans in the works with their speed car program, but I'm not 100% sure. So,
mate, you're competitors, mate. You're coming in. They were probably worried about Big Sharp Motorsports coming at them.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that. We're just going to be going out there and hoping to finish some races, I think, to start
make sure
with.
It starts.
Yeah, and that. Yeah, I've got to buy a big quad now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all those little things. I always think that because, yeah, with the wingless, you can start in the shed. I always think it'd be such a nightmare not knowing. Yeah, can you start a speed car anywhere other than actually out the track, or you just push it down the road?
Well, yeah, obviously you usually see the guys just fire them off down the street. Where else are you going to do it, So, I think most guys obviously, do some sort of engine program before race night and get some heat in the motors. So, yeah, I think that's what we'll be doing, mate. Just getting the old D-Max behind it and fire it off down the road, I reckon.
Let the big girl rip. Nah, yeah, that'll be sweet. And then, yeah, like always, all the other classes, sort of regardless of what sort of event they go on, they're always second fiddle for the sprint cars. And then this week particularly, the field is bumper. It is sick. Like, yeah, the sprint car program, particularly at the Motorplex this year, is so awesome. And I am actually genuinely excited to see how it goes because obviously, yeah, not to discredit anyone else, but like Dane and Callum have stepped it up significantly this year, and they're that fast, and obviously, Caden Manders even, like he's right there. They're clearly the top three. But then this week we get to throw in, obviously Ryan Newton's back, but James McFadden, maybe top 5 sprint car driver in the world. And yeah, between him and Kerry Madsen, who's also in the field, are the two best that Australia's probably ever produced with maybe Brooke Tatnell. But this field, mate, that with who they enter this week, it's really at the Motorplex. It's going to be James McFadden's new, Kerry Madsen's new, Shawnee Bradford's back, Luke Oldfield's here, Michael Pickens comes back, and they join the rest of the crew. So it'll just be crazy. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, like definitely. I mean, it just shows obviously how good the Maddington Toyota Series is to get those guys, to come and race. Yeah, I think everyone's probably waiting to see James over here in that team, obviously a fresh team. So that's going to be sick. Like, it'll be really, interesting to definitely see how they go. And obviously, Kerry back in the Diamond Bay car. Yeah, you just know that he's going to be fast. Like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, look at Bunbury on the weekend, and so that's going to be cool. And obviously, Luke Oldfield, I assume he's probably in the Pete Motorsport car.
He is, correct.
Yeah, so he'll be there or thereabouts. But yeah, I reckon, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, hopefully I can get a chance to go up and watch some sprint car racing.
Yeah, that is the almost the shittest thing about racing, mate. I do it. This year alone, I've already snapped 2 like receiver earphones trying to get out too fast to get up and watch the sprint car races. So I'm going to have to take it a bit easier, mate, because those things actually, they're $120 for a set of headphones at the track.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Jeez,
so
I don't miss you.
Nah, they've got me twice. And all it is me just rushing to get up there and watch the sprint cars going. But yeah, James McFadden obviously is anywhere he races in Australia, he'd be the biggest inclusion, and it's no different this weekend. But yeah, with the Sheldon Brady, his team that's coming out, they are a new team, but it's obviously Buzzy and J-Mac reunited. So whilst it would be a new team, and from all reports, it's like as Mickey Mouse a setup as you could possibly get. So I'm keen to see how the car looks and all the rest of it. But I think, James McFadden and Buzzy, mate, they've won as many races as any combination in the country. So they'll be fast straight away. And then you pair that with King Shot and Williamson and even Trev Pigden, we'll just been saying before off air. Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't run in Bunbury, but he'll be back. And yeah, he hasn't had the results that he wanted, so he'll be there. And yeah, it'll be. Luke Oldfield was real fast in that Pete Motorsports as well. So yeah, I almost feel like the mid-packer dudes are just fucked this week. Like those heat races, some of them already. Like the 2 dudes are battling at the back. You're like, they're way too good at the back. And this week, with the inclusion of all these other guys, it's just going to be even worse.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's got to be hard, for some of them when they look at that entry list and go, geez, like not that it's like what or bother, but it must be hard when you see like that kind of talent, being entered. So yeah, I think it'll be really good. I think there'll be a big crowd in to see J-Mac. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how he goes,
mate. I think that sometimes in some of our heats, if it's like yourself and the Ivan hours, I'm like, well, fuck, what am I doing? And I'm like, this is only a heat race. There's another heat. So, like, say, for instance, like Kyle Francis, this is going to be his first week back in the 410. And it's just, yeah, he'll just be hoping to get the laps in, really, because it's sort of unrealistic to think of much else with the quality of what's in. Like, yeah, then Daniel Harding, obviously, he's not had any real results yet when considering the speed he's had. He could be anything. Like, yeah, plenty of unknowns, so which leads to plenty of excitement. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, just touching on Dan, like you said, obviously that first round when he was the man to beat, and yeah, just doesn't seem to be having much luck at the moment. But yeah, I reckon he could be in with a chance this weekend for sure.
Mate, he's in with a chance every single week. Like, that's what's crazy. Like, yeah, Trevor Jolly and Jolly Good Auto Electrics obviously have that team. And, yes, unfortunate they haven't had any results. And yeah, I ran into Trevor at the Supercross on the weekend, and he seems like a really, really good lad. And obviously, yeah, disappointed with the engine issues, but, with the car issues and the crashes, but yeah, they'll be there or thereabouts, mate. So, If you're on the fence about this weekend or you haven't got to the Motorplex, like this is probably before high limits. Like this would be, it seems like the best race to get to this year because it's going to be pretty sick.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I've even said, to a few people who have never been to Speedway, this is probably the event, like you said, before High Limits come to town. This is probably the one you want to go to if you want to get a bit of a taste for it. So, it should be awesome. 2 nights, some people racing double duties, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That double duties must be pretty crazy, hey? Like, I know Chirkop's doing it at the moment, but to jump out of a car and into another, like, I don't know if you've ever done it, but I would imagine it'd just be like hectic. You wouldn't get a time to think, and you'd almost get confused about which car's which and what race was that. Like, have you ever done anything like that?
Not on Speedway. I have before on bitumen, but I think it'd be a lot more difficult depending on what the two classes would be, I guess. Like, even for like guys like Caden who are doing the speed car and then the sprint car, like that must be like really, really hard, because you got to drive them totally different.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I would think that would just be really, really difficult, and it just shows how good they are. They can be, at the top of the field in both divisions. So
yeah, because Harding did that last year. Hey, he won the speed car feature and the sprint car feature.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So that was crazy that night. I don't think there's too many people that have done that.
I don't reckon.
In the last who knows how many years, but yeah, he was crazy fast that night.
All right, so we got to get into our segments here. So first of all, we got the Cannabis Botanical Distillery Raise Your Glass. We got a little sponsor read here. Like, I don't blame you if you skip it, because that's what I do. But the more I do this, the more I actually understand that sponsors do make the world go round. And same as a sprint car or race car or speed car, whatever you've got, without the sponsors, you can't get out there. And that's the same as us. So yeah, effectively, if you want to buy some piss, get on CBDs and buy it. The Cannabis Botanical Distillery, Raise Your Glass. Cannabis Botanical Distillery, who pride themselves on being innovators in distilling the best of nature and bottling it for your enjoyment. Find them at cannabisbotanical.com.au on Instagram and on Facebook. My Racer Glass, my CBD, Raise Your Glass. We got a little few Cannabis Botanical Distillery rum and colas going on in here, but this week I've got Mikey Green from the 360s. Yeah, he came second in the 360s all year, though. He's been pretty impressive. He's just got the big black Assassin, this all-black car. He gets out there and, yeah, he's been driving really well. And to come second at Bunbury with how the track was, I was pretty impressed with his efforts and thought he needs a bit of a shout-out. So, Mikey Green, well done, mate. Sharpe, you ready yet or what? He's still second-guessing it here, which, yeah, we run a loose program, so we don't mind too much, mate. You got any ideas yet?
Oh, look, I mean, it's a hard one. There's probably a few people that you could probably pick. Jeez.
I can run another segment while you want to look. I couldn't care, mate.
Yeah, I'd probably say, I mean, at the moment, maybe, mate, I really don't know. I might need some more time to have a think, I reckon.
No, all good, mate. So my next one, the Westerberg Marine Pump Up. I'll give it a same thing, mate. If you want a boat, buy this bloke's boat. They're the best in WA. They're the best in Australia. And yeah, the 50-60% off deal's obviously over because Reese has caught up with the episodes and now he's onto it. But yeah, no doubt he'll give you the best Dewey spots down in Albany or his best whiting spots down in Albany, squidding, whatever you want. He's got all the GPS locations. Have a listen. This is the Westerberg Marine Pump Up. Who needs a bit of air in their tyres? Westerberg Marine, built in-house and built to last. For over 50 years, Westerberg Marine have built premium quality vessels on time, on budget and to specification. Thanks to their rigorous quality control and communication process, you'll stay informed every step of the way. Yeah, this week, he's featured on the program before for me, but my pump up this week's got to be Joel Ettridge. My heart went out to him. I watched the interview there that they did on the Maddington 2 Sprint Car Series. Yeah, he's clearly really flat. Obviously, it's not his fault at all. He explains it. So if you are interested in watching it, jump on the Facebook page and have a look. But yeah, he's assumed that he's been lapped or something similar. Later found out it's just a racing incident or racing for 15th. He went over and over. It was pretty rough, and I'm assuming it's his old man. I was actually at the gate, and I don't blame his old man at all because it was a full-on crash, but yeah, it looked like his old man was going pretty wild at the gate saying, let me in. And Yeah, that's what I'd be like if that was my son out there. But yeah, Joel, obviously massive damage and new into the class, a bit of a lower budget team. All of his mates helping him out. He needs a bit of a pump up. They're looking to get that car re-going and firing up on Saturday night. He's been pretty good as well, so it's really unfortunate that he's had another incident. Yeah, he even explains that he's felt like all he's done this year is work on the car, but yeah, he's starting to move pretty well, and yeah, I hope that the car's all back together and firing on Saturday night. Mate, where are we at? We up to speed yet or what?
Yeah, I think my pump up for the week's probably going to be Dan Harding. Obviously,
the other party.
Probably a little bit controversial, but yeah, look, he's been crazy fast pretty much all year and probably hasn't really had the results to show that speed. So, yeah, I reckon they'll obviously build a new car or whatever they need to do this week, and we'll see how he goes this weekend. But, yeah, hopefully they can get some results for that Trevor Jolly team.
Yeah, like I spoke about earlier, I actually why I'm a big fan of Jolly Good Auto Electrics is how many cars and events they sponsor. So I love it when there's people that have worked hard enough in business to actually be fully successful, and they put back into the sport. I love it. So yeah, hopefully the Trevor Jolly 18 gets back out there and gets back up on the podium at least. The next segment is the TPE Group Standout Performer. TPE Group, just another quality, upstanding company that sponsor lots of cars in the pits, and they obviously give us a studio here in Coburn at the old RPM building. Yeah, they've never asked me for anything. They just want to get us out there and get this motorsports and speedway out there in a podcast platform. So I appreciate everything that TPE Group and Chris Clark and the boys do for us there. We love it. Where we use their fridge and get all the piss out of it every week. So we love it. This week, my standout performer just has to be Callum Williamson. If you just watch that race back on TV, you understand why. He made one mistake, and he's obviously been shuffled from third back to seventh from one mistake with how the field is and how competitive he is. But like I touched on previously, just watching that battle with him and Kerry Madsen, like in terms of names, Kerry's a way bigger name than him, and he just wasn't intimidated, fought tooth and nail to keep the spot, which was at that time 6th or 7th, whatever it was. When I genuinely thought like he probably should just almost give it up or it was just a matter of time before it happened. But the junkyard dog from up there in Geraldton, mate, they breed him wild up there. He's fought on and then he turned that 7th into 6th and then 5th and then kept on grinding away and attacking, and the car came to him and eventually, just made that pass on the last lap, and that never give up attitude was truly evident to me. Like he looked like he was giving up to no one, and he fought literally to the last meter of the track, and yeah, that's why he wins, and he tightens up the championship battle with that. I'm just trying to get it back up now. Yeah, but with that win and obviously Dane drifting back at that stage, he drops back a little bit in the standings, but Dane's obviously just winning now, but only by 4 points. So, yeah, right at the top, no surprises, Dane and Callum, and then Chris Coyle in third, Caden Mendes in fourth. I actually thought Caden would have been third in that championship.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right.
It's Chris Coyle, yep.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, obviously it's only early on in the season, so, geez, it'll be hard to pick someone, but you got to expect those guys to be there at the end. You know, they've all got great equipment. The cars never let them down. So yeah, they'll be there at the end. It's going to be a big year, I think.
Yep. So yeah, my TP Group standout performer this week's Callum Wilson. Who you got?
I'm probably going to have to go, I reckon, Ryan Newton this week. Yeah, I think that's his second night out in that Monty car. You know, so to get on the podium second night out, that's pretty crazy. Probably a car that's totally different package to what he's used to. So yeah, I think, in that feature, yeah, he was just crazy fast at the end. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go this year. But that was probably my standout from that feature race.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. I know they've got that livery this year for one of their anniversaries or whatever, but I miss that yellow. I loved when Monty's was yellow. It was an awesome look.
Yeah, definitely. When I was growing up as a kid and we used to come up from Albany to the Motorplex, and that was the iconic yellow, We knew that was the Monty car. Yep. yeah, I'm sure they'll bring it back, but I guess it's one of those things, that's cool to mix it up. And I don't know, I'm a bit the opposite. I'm a bit of a fan of the livery, I reckon.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, it tastes all sorts, mate. So moving on to the final segment of the knife, the knife merchant slice and dice. Big Reggie Smith there, mate. He was down on the weekend and big fan of the show. And if you need a knife, Victory Knox, he's your man. Jump online, the Knife Merchant. They'll be the number one thing there on Google. Quality stuff. I've got their stuff at the moment. I actually, got it sent down to me by Reggie. Same day service that night. You get it. You want it that day. It's packed that night, sent that night. Yeah, local WA company, and the knives are just awesome, mate. They cut those tomatoes, razor thin, anything you want. Reggie's got it there. Jump on. You'll see his Instagram actually. Big fisherman. He fillets those big dewies and those snappers up. Beautiful. So have a listen and buy a knife if you need one. This is the Knife Merchant Slice and Dice, sponsored by the Knife Merchant. A cut above. Premium quality knives for fishing, camping, kitchen, butchering and outdoor lifestyle. So there you go, mate. If you need a knife, jump online, get one. Mate, this is who bounces back. So, there's a number of people that could get back this weekend. In particularly, obviously, we talk about the sprint cars, but my bounce back, 9th place, Chris Coyle. I think Chris, obviously, 9th, he'll be pretty disappointed in that with how far up he started in that Fitch race. I think he's been really, really competitive at the Motorplex, and I actually stood next to him. I was too nervous to introduce myself, so I need to be better at that. But Chris, if you see you this weekend, but he'll be my bounce back. I reckon he goes a lot better than 9th this weekend. Back on familiar territory, and he'll no doubt crank out a way better result this week. Who have you got? Who you reckon pretty shit in Bunbury or not up to standard in Bunbury and bounces back at Motorplex this week?
Geez, I reckon I'm going to probably go with AP. I reckon Andrew Priolo.
Yeah,
15th at Bunbury. Probably a bit of a rough night. I think he's been having a bit of a rough year, to be honest.
I reckon he's been
poor guy.
He's been in the pump up or this bounces back every week.
Yeah. I mean, their hauler, that's the sickest thing in the pits. You go past that thing and you're like, fuck, man, this thing is awesome. So
at the Classic last year, they did like a full segment on it. And AP walked them through. I think I'm not sure who did the interview, but they walked it through and it was so sick. Like, he's not silly. I think he's an architect. Like, every inch of that truck has been done on purpose and to a T. It's a beautiful rig.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So, look, hopefully he can bounce back. Like, those guys definitely have the speed to run at the front of this field. And, I reckon with a bit of luck going his way and hopefully they can stay out of the tear-ups. And, I think he can definitely run at the front with these guys for sure.
And then who bounces so who is quick time, mate? James McFadden, because it's James McFadden. That's it. End of story. Who you got?
Big call. I'm going to go with, I reckon, Kerry Madsen quick times.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah, I don't blame it. Yep. Go. Give me your reasons why.
Oh, look, I mean, second night out in the car.
Yeah.
He's got a quick time, surely.
Yeah.
Look, it's one of those things. Like, that team is probably, one of, if not obviously the best teams in the country. And like you said before, he's probably, one of, if not the best sprint car driver we've produced. So, I'm gonna call it now and say he goes quick time.
Yeah, mate. But what's crazy, we just run a little domestic series here in Perth, but James McFadden and Kerry Madsen are here driving out of everywhere in the country. It just happens to be that our two best that we've probably produced is here. And again, I've said it a heap of times, it's just a testament to the program that Gavin Mygro and Veronica McCann and Jeff Kendrick and all the rest of the guys that are involved in it have put together that, Sheldon Brady produces his program, drags that Kim Buzzy out of retirement, puts him back in. Like, this is how good our series is and how good the facilities are that, these are the sort of names and the people that we're getting back in the sport. So, to even say, like, you get Kerry Madsen and McFadden back together, like, without World of Outlaws, you would assume that's probably not going to happen anywhere except the Classic. So, wicked to have them as well as all the other big dogs back. Mate, you have to guess who's off the front row this weekend and who wins?
Jeez, off the front row. I'm going to say McFadden off the front row and Kingshot next to him.
Yeah, okay, that's me too. That's what I was going to go to, because Kingshot was fucking so much faster for 26 laps last week. Like, I'm not sure if they hurt that engine, because that thing was smoking 5 minutes after the feature race. It was still smoking. And yeah, Dane was one of the ones I wanted to get a post-race interview of, but it just didn't look like a good time.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, especially after one of those races.
Yeah, when it was his for pretty much the whole race, it was him, and then to fade like that. But yeah, I think, after speaking with him particularly, he's just like a winner. You know, like his mentality is a winner. Like everything about it, he's a winner. Like it'll be burning him up. But then you got Callum Wilson, who'll be full of confidence. But yeah, if I had to hedge your bets, it's going to be J-Mac and Dane Kingshot off the front. And then who wins?
Jeez, who wins? Well, I reckon Ryan Newton this week.
Yeah.
Yep, third show in that car. He's been moving forward on the podium last round.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll make a big call. I reckon Ryan Newton wins this week.
Yeah. Like I said, you go through the names and you're just like, if you said Williamson, Manders, Newton, Madsen, Kingshot, either of the Myolos, McFadden, like it all sounds like, oh yeah, of course you'd say that. But there's 9 names.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like it's literally exactly that. Like any 10, 12 cars could win on any given night. Like that's just how good the field is, and the quality of the drivers, I guess. Like good for us though, sitting in the stands after we race. For sure.
Yeah, I'll be stoked, mate. Chips and gravy, watching the boys go as hard as they can. But I'll tip. Think Brody Moller and Williamson. But I think it's going to be between Williamson and Kingshot as well. Like I think those boys have gone to another level, and raffle off the win between Williamson and Kingshot. But now I even want to change. No, I'll just go. Balls Moller, he'll have that thing swinging. I think they'll go really good in quick time, put themselves in a good position, and I think Callum to go back to back and have it 2-all, or 2 wins each, and it'll be sweet. And then the last question for the North Merchant Slice and Dice, mate. Who wins the championship from here?
Oh, dear. Yeah, I think the 2 guys you just mentioned, Dane and Callum, that they're going to be there at the end. I think Caden will be there at the end as well. Like, I think those guys have a pretty big program this year, a bit of interstate stuff. So I reckon he'll be there at the end. So, geez, I reckon Callum wins it this year. I reckon.
Yeah, I think it's now a 2-horse race, just because Dane and Callum are already in 1 and 2, and then now that we introduce Madsen and McFadden, I think they're gonna split the points up a fair bit and be that gap, and they might win every race, but it's just going to be more cars between Callum and Dane versus Coyle and Manders. I just think that with the introduction of like even Luke Oldfield, there's just going to be a car or 2 in between. It's just going to compound that points difference every single week. And the crew chiefs of obviously Cricky Motorsports and Matty Cochran, meeting him, like he's a slick operator. He knows exactly what's going on. And then Brody Moller, obviously they put in a lot of effort, and all the crew chiefs do, but probably those 2 clearly by the results and the points tally are on top of the game. And it's genuinely, there's only 4 points between them at the moment, but it's a genuine raffle. And I think at this stage, just with how many more rounds have been at the Motorplex, I'm probably going to tip Dane Kingshot DK2 at this stage. He's my championship winner. But mate, this is sprint cars at the Motorplex. Anything could happen.
Yeah, definitely. Nah, throwing those guys in the mix is definitely going to spice it up a little bit. And I think sort of the same sort of thing happened last season when, the Americans came over and those guys were still points racing,
Yep.
So, it'll definitely be hard because, you probably got that in the back of your mind, I've got to probably be a bit conservative or something. But I think when you're in the car, all that shit goes out the window. You know, you just want to win. You just want to win the race. So, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what those guys do. But yeah, no, Dane and Callum will definitely still be up the front somewhere, I reckon.
Yeah, they're just both killers, eh? Like, but all of them are, like, even Manders and Coyle and all the rest of them, they're just like, yeah, it's like a dog-eat-dog class, and to come out on top every week, you just got to be a killer. And it's just, for us as fans and Speedway nuffies who get up there and watch every single weekend, it's just sick, and it's only going to get better. Like, yeah, this weekend will start off a massive sort of back end of the year leading into the High Limit show, and yeah, I'm stoked to see how it goes. So that wraps up episode 7 here. I just want to, I've got a little sponsor read here at the end, and I would love you to stick around, but I also don't blame you if you don't. But yeah, sponsors make the world go round, same as for the cars on the track. But yeah, if you see us in the pits this weekend, me or Brandon or Benny Stockdale, Chad Armstrong, anyone that's been on the show, make sure you say g'day, give us some feedback, good or bad. Yeah, I've actually been stoked with the feedback I've got on social media. So I've had an unbelievable amount of people message in and say how much that they are liking what's going on. But yeah, any feedback that you got, give us a message on Facebook. And yeah, if you see me stinking it up at the Motorplex, just drop by and say g'day. And yeah, up goes the podcast. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming in, bud. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate.
This episode has been brought to you by the following companies: BKB Plumbing and Gas. For all your plumbing needs in the Pilbara, contact Brody and his dedicated team. From domestic water softeners to large-scale commercial projects, they got you covered. Cannabis Botanical Distillery, the finest and most delicious beverages in Western Australia. From vodka, gin, seltzers and ginger beer, plus many more. Find them online at cannabisbotanical.com.au, on Facebook and on Instagram. Westerberg Marine, the world's best boats built right here in Albany, Western Australia. Call and speak to Reece Jones and the team to see how they can get you out on the water in style. TPE Group, proud sponsors of many race cars in the pits around WA, local speedway clubs and all-round motorsports enthusiasts. If you're in the market for any of these sponsors and they can help you with something, please get in touch with them. Let's support the people who support the sport. See you at the track.